Fire behavior today was nothing like we saw yesterday, but fire officials say the East Troublesome fire is still dangerous tonight. And despite more favorable conditions, the fire still grew another 17,000 acres today. So tonight it is 188,000 acres.
And today crews were able to get help from the air because those winds died down and the smoke cleared out. And tonight, just like last night, the main mission is structure protection along the Highway 34 corridor between Granby and Grand Lake. And we just learned containment actually dropped from 5% to 4%.
We kick things off tonight with Denver7's Gary Brode live in Granby. Gary?
Yeah, Shannon, it's much calmer here in Granby compared to yesterday, but there are still spot fires breaking out in subdivisions. Look, we know this fire is still devastating, and that's why Denver7 is doing something no other station is. We are teaming up with community partners along with Denver7 Gives to help these communities rebuild.
Schelly Olson and her family had a picture-perfect cabin in Grand Lake.
We put everything into it to make this wonderful place for our two little girls to grow up.
Until just a couple of days ago.
You know, it was like just another gut punch to see it. How something so beautiful and so strong and so, it just didn't seem like anything could take it down, and it was reduced to just a pile of ash.
Olson and her family had only minutes to evacuate.
We never, I guess, could have imagined how intense it would get and how fast it would move.
Fond memories reduced to ash.
I'm just really, really gonna miss the good times we had there with friends and the community we had.
Since 2008, Olson has fought fires in her community as a member of the Grand Fire Protection District Number 1. But this time, there was nothing she could do.
Losing their homes, losing everything, you just don't think it could happen to you. And it can.
As Olson's house was being engulfed in flames, she found refuge in the home of her friend, Megan Ledeen.
It was one of the hardest nights, knowing that there's only so many things you can do for him at that moment. And no words are going to make it better. Grand Foundation, this is Megan.
Ledeen is the executive director of the Grand Foundation, which is now partnering with Denver7 Gives to raise money to help Olson and so many others hit by the East Troublesome fire.
It's really emotional for everybody here. We don't know how many homes have been lost, how many people, have been displaced.
We're not the only ones. I mean, this has happened to so many people in so many places.
A dream home gone. Now Olson and the rest of her community must rely on each other to get through this nightmare.
We're strong.
Denver7 is a 501c3, and we have partnered with 3 community partners, including Grand Station there, to help ensure that every single dollar we raise stays here in Colorado to help these fire victims. If you'd like to give, go to the denverchannel.com, click Denver7 Gives, and look for Help Colorado Wildfire Victims in the drop-down. And we've been so overwhelmed, Shannon and Ann, by their generosity. In fact, more than 400 of you have already donated around $50,000. Reporting live here in Granby, Gary Brode, Denver7.
Gary, thank you. And for all of you who have given, thank you. And for these fire victims, there is and will be such need for financial help as they figure out how they're going to rebuild. Among those people, Cammie Gilmore and her family. They learned today their cabin is a total loss. They bought it years ago on Sun Valley Lake, turned it into a business they rented out to guests. It became known as Twin Pines Lodge.
Which was probably once the most beautiful place on earth. We're grieving more of the people connection and what the magic was of Sun Valley Lake and that community.
And the Grand County Sheriff's Office still hasn't been able to give us a number of how many homes have been destroyed in the fire. They say it's just still too dangerous to get inside the fire zone and do damage assessment.